Hi, this is Gabri, your host of Gem Radio. Thanks for joining. I am here today at the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek, and I am with Angie Busby, who is sales manager here at the Park Hyatt, and Tom Puntel, who is the director of sales and marketing. And I thought it was extremely important to talk with you guys today because I know that, the Hyatt has developed an extensive guest listening exercise that has brought a lot of evolution to the Hyatt travelers, to their experience, and in particular to women. I know that this exercise that the Hyatt really did look at women travelers because women are such a critical segment of travelers. And I would love to hear more about what some of those findings are and how the Hyatt has implemented and, in my opinion, sort of revolutionized the experience for the female traveler.
Thank you. Great to be on with you. I know in my family, my wife makes all the decisions. So not only would the study be incredibly important for marketing, but it really defines authentic hospitality, which is what Hyatt is all about. So last year, our senior director of brand, Sarah Kearney, took it upon herself to really spend a lot of time focusing on feedback and listening to our female travelers, which is more than 50%, let alone even more than that when it comes to making decisions. So after 18 months and really the largest listening study that Hyatt ever has done with 40 focus groups or whatnot, came up with some really specific areas that were opportunities for us within Hyatt.
What are some of those opportunities?
It really goes around really anticipating the needs of female traveler. Here I am with Angie, who does travel with Hyatt. Always stays in a Hyatt, of course, right?
Of course.
But some of those specific things that the study came out to resolve from all of the feedback, some of them are very basic. It doesn't apply to all women. But one of the very, very basic things is instead of having a full terry cloth robe, that we have available a variety of amenities. One of those, which was just a very simple thing to put into place, are just the lighter waffle cotton robes. And something that I learned is important because, of course, I bought my wife this huge, fluffy terry cloth robe, and I don't know if she ever really used that. So.
Well, and we are talking with Angie as well. And Angie, you are an employee of the Hyatt.
Yes.
But outside of your job, you also have the full-time job as a mother. Obviously, you're a woman. And I'm curious how you personally have experienced some of what the Hyatt has implemented and kind of your personal experience with those things.
Sure. Well, I do often enjoy staying in the Hyatt hotels, and as I've stayed there, getting to and from often from home to your destination can be somewhat chaotic, and often you show up to the hotel and you have forgotten things. When you travel as a mother and you're taking care of children as well, those children will forget what they're supposed to bring. So then you're not only concerned with what your needs are and may not have those available because of just lack of remembering to bring them, but then you also have to remember everything for that child. So when I'm arriving at a property and, getting into the hotel room and then being able to make sure that we have what we need and realizing that the toothbrush for the little one is not in the bag or my toothpaste is not in the bag and little things that we need. It's just such a nice ease and delight to know that I can pick up the phone, call the front desk, and not only do they have, a number of amenities available to a guest, but they have exactly what I might have forgotten, what I need, what might have been left behind.
I know that from my own personal research with this program, one of the comments was, my hair is always flat because, the products that are in the room are not what I usually use. And, and those are things that have changed. correct?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when you say this, I also think traveling these days with certain hair products is a little bit more, complicated because of travel through airports and things. So when you get there, and then the Hyatt has some really nice high-end product that I actually prefer to use when I actually go there. That it's nice that shampoo and conditioners and even hairsprays and different things like that I am like excited to use as a guest of the Hyatt, not feeling like I'm obligated to use it because I've forgotten something and it's there. They really hold a high standard to the product that they do put in. I think that's specific to making sure that women
Well, we're going
enjoy
to come back and learn more after the break, because this is a really great topic of conversation, and not only because we've got an amazing Park Hyatt Beaver Creek, right here in our own backyard, but I think it's just really important to address the fact that women are different travelers, and that it's so fantastic that the Hyatt Corporation as a whole has taken that into consideration. So we will be back after the break. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about the Hyatt experience, you can log on to experience.hyatt.com, and we will be back with more Gem Radio talking about the Hyatt Women's Experience. This is Gabri, and you are on Gem Radio.
Gem Radio is generously underwritten by First Bank.
You're listening to Gem Radio. Check out our Facebook page at Gem Radio. You're listening to Gem Radio. Email me at gabri@gogem.co. You're on Gem Radio. This is Gabri, and I am with Tom Puntel, Director of Sales and Marketing of the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek, and Angie Busby, the sales manager up at the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek. And before the break, we were talking a little bit about how the Hyatt has revolutionized the female travel experience and has done an extensive listening program, a client listening program, to really address the needs of the female traveler. And we had been talking about various different products and how the Hyatt has really taken into account the needs of the female traveler. And one of the things that, Angie, you had mentioned was, you're a mom, and traveling a lot of times, it's very hard to get everything in the suitcase, no matter if you're going for a staycation overnight or if you're going for a week. Traveling with kids, there's so much to think about, and, the Hyatt has done some things to take care of that, correct?
Correct. Like I had mentioned, just the availability of the amenity and product that they have at their fingertips to be able to provide you is excellent. There's also, from this listening and the overall initiative, some other attempts that have been made to really make sure that experience is really it's given to the guests in a way that respects their own privacy. There's the opportunity for them to leave that kind of amenity, for you at the door, so you're not kind of interrupted, and whatever that may be, to be able to, have to get that product or that amenity that they've left for you. So there's just overall, they're really thinking about what your experience is, not only from, having the availability of that, but then also how they deliver that to the guest. And I'm always respectful of that, and think that, if I have a child that's sleeping or something, that's nice, that I'm not going to be interrupted, and that's being taken into consideration.
So, Tom, the tagline is not just hospitality with you in charge, hospitality with you in mind. How does that speak to the experience that the female traveler is going to have?
Well, I think what Angie mentioned is just by listening to what the overall listening experience created, the overall program, should people forget something, is Hyatt has it. And so this list is, whether it's the simplest stuff that every luxury property should have, a sewing kit, slippers, tea, vanity kit, But as Angie mentioned, it's how it's delivered. The survey says, if you will, is that as a female traveler is getting ready, they don't want to be interrupted. They don't want to open up their door and collect from the delivery person something. So the program calls for when the delivery person gets to the door, they knock on the door a couple of times, hang the item in a privacy bag right on the doorknob. So then when it's convenient for you, you just collect it and you don't have to worry about anybody seeing you or when you're not fully ready to go out for the day. And that's just one of the components of the overall female traveler experience within Hyatt. The location of the guest room has been shown to be very important. So when a female traveler wants something specific, then we are able to track that individual in a way to say, well, I like to be close to the elevator. I like to be in the middle of the hall. The listening experience showed that the female traveler doesn't want to be all the way at the end of the hall. That's a bit of a security concern or a safety concern. But then, it goes even further. As Sarah Kearney mentioned, in her studies, it's not a one-size-fits-all playbook. It's not fitting the experience into the man's world, but it's really trying to understand specifically how to customize the experience for the female traveler. And it also goes into our food and beverage options. So a very, very key component of the overall program is to make sure that we are maintaining the health and well-being while on the road. Here at the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek and Alegria Spa, that makes it a bit easier since we have such the world-renowned spa. But it also goes into the food and beverage items that are on our menu. Hyatt has a full program about making sure that our food is thoughtfully sourced and carefully served. Anybody can go on to hyattfood.com and really understand a little bit more about the program and about the options and what we do to commit to healthy food and beverage ingredients. All natural chicken, free-range eggs, hormone-free milk, making sure that the fish that we offer is on the sustainable list and not considered over-harvest. So all of this stuff, as we try to maintain the health and well-being on the road, whether it is specifically focused on the female traveler, but all travelers that come into Hyatt, is really, really incredibly important.
Well, I don't know why I would stay anywhere else. And actually, I am a frequent guest of the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek and have personally experienced some of this as well. And part of the reason why, part of the reason why I really thought it was appropriate to talk about is because I've had these experiences. I bring my children. We've been fortunate to stay and have fun in the winters and, be so accessible to the mountain. But there's a reason why we like to keep coming back. Our experience as guests, and I say our because I think a lot of times the family is included in that female traveler, and the Park Hyatt Beaver Creek in particular is unbelievably family friendly and an amazing experience to get away for the day or the night or the weekend, however you are able to do it. And I appreciate what you guys do because it's noticeable and it does make the experience of traveling here different, unique, and memorable. So I think it's working.
Thank you. The property is definitely made for families, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And, and that's completely unsolicited. It's just as a fan of this property, I think it's really great what you guys are doing. So definitely appreciate it and know that it's not going, unnoticed. So again, for more information about the Hyatt experience, you can log on to experience.hyatt.com. And we will have some information on our website as well at gogem.co. Again, this is Gem Radio. I'm your host, and we are very grateful that you are listening to us today.
Gem Radio is generously underwritten by First Bank.
You're listening to Gem Radio. Check out our Facebook page at Gem Radio.